good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Barra, and we are here to talk about One Piece, chapter 1167. I hope all of you are having a great day, night, or whenever you're catching this. All right. I was very excited to get into this chapter. I kind of forgot that it wasn't a break week just due to everything going on in the sports and wrestling world, but there was a lot of interesting things about this fucking chapter. I mean, the title alone, I think, is a big tell sign, you know, along with the notes. There's a lot about this chapter that I think stands out beyond the rest. I mean, going right into it, Ida's son. Right, Ida's son is a reference, obviously, to Loki. Right, it's kind of interesting. The cover story brings us all the way back to Orangetown. Right, all the way back to Orangetown, and we see Jen and Nojiko, Nami's sister. They're kind of looking at a cat that's ran away with a book from the library, but you know they're not upset about it, right? And this kind of reflects Nami's story, right, when she stole the book, right, to kind of learn the map of the world. So it was nice. This is a really nice full story moment. And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of interesting things about this chapter, right? Like first off the bat, we get this insane piece of lore, right? We're 5 years ahead of the God Valley incident. So much has changed. Rogers has fully developed his beard, right? And Shanks is on the crew, Buggy, and everything's evolving, right? And like we quickly get to Rogers' execution, but in this quick, brief summary of 5 years after God Valley, we learn that Harold has kind of became like a Batman for the fucking world government, bro. It is so badass. And I really do appreciate what this story has been able to deliver when it comes to Harold and his lore and kind of the choices that he's made along the way. You know, it's one of those sunk cost fallacies, you know, like he has completely developed, like he's completely had to, you know, go all into this devotion to the world government. And, you know, not for nothing, it pays off. You know, we see pirates talking about these warriors or these beasts. They even bring up like the Floridian Triangle, which is like, if you know, you know, right? Like that's crazy to even bring that up. And long story short, we see Harold emerging from the shadows, just taking out pirate ships, right? He goes out and, you know, he docks on Marie-Draw. And this is where we learn the history of the abyss, right? And the kind of pacts that are formed within the abyss, if you want to call it that. We don't really know what it is, but we can kind of call it the abyss, right? It's the mark of the abyss, or the mark of Emu, right? The mark of the world government. And it is the same thing that we seen on Shanks's arm, right at the beginning of this flashback. It is very interesting. You know, again, this is after a couple of recruitments of some giants, and you know, eventually Harold runs into Saturn, DJ, right, and Garling, and they're just breaking down how everything works. They're saying that there is, you know, a way to keep distance with the Holy Knights, being that, you know, Harold has officially became a god steel, and if the Gorosei are going to be, you know, and if the Gorosei are going to need Harold, he's going to have to be on his beckoning call. So he gets a transponder snail, and that is how we set up all connections with the Gorosei and the world government with Harold moving forward. It's really interesting stuff, man. Next we see Harold kind of just laughing and shooting the shit with Poseidon, and essentially they're just talking about like an arranged marriage, which is like insane, being that she isn't even born yet, Neptune. What the fuck? And Harold's like, all right, let's calm that conversation down. You know, we don't need to be talking all about that. But you know, Poseidon does bring up that, you know, you know, Shirahoshi is going to be able to, I mean, not for nothing, control all of the fucking sea beasts. That's not a small feat at all. It's pretty fucking big. So with this, you know, they kind of just laugh it off and share a drink about it, you know, to discuss another time. Highly doubt that's going to go anywhere, but it might. You know, maybe that's how we're going to get Jormungandr, right? Huh, interesting. Maybe that's how we get Jormungandr. All right, interesting. Okay, interesting. All right, I just thought about that for like 2 seconds. All right. Next we see Saul. Saul arrives at Elbaf, you know, and Harold is really happy to see Saul again. This is after O'Hara, and you know, Saul, he has a couple of scratches on him. He seems really beaten up, and what Harold says, hey, so we're really happy to have you. Actually, now that you're here, we'd love if you could actually become a teacher and open up a school. This being obviously a part to to reshape and reconstruct the minds and the kind of ideas of what giants should be in society. And I kind of can't blame Harold for this, but at the same time, it is essentially whitewashing your culture to a certain extent. It's tricky. It's half civilized, half kind of capitulation to the world government. It's a lot. It's a mess. Next we see Red Fishman Tiger. He is storming through Marie's wall. So this is Cappy Dibara from the future, editing Dibara, if you will. I just realized Shanks is assisting with the escape of Red Fishman Tiger, and he left the armory unlocked. He infiltrated the Holy Knights. You fucking goat. You goat. This nigga Shanks is so crazy. I just seen it. Editing this video, I just caught that. Oh my god. And he is freeing slaves. We see Koala. We even see I believe some people that we even see we see Koala. We even see somebody named Sanderosiana. We even see a Sandersonia, right? We even see Sandersonia, right? A lot of people that are coming back for this chapter. Really, I mean, all the way back to fucking Kojiko on the front page. This is just a throwback chapter through and through. I mean, honestly, I love the vibes. Really, this is perfect for the holiday season. This is essentially our family. And this is kind of our Thanksgiving chapter for our One Piece family that we've grown over the years and years and years. We get Shirahoshi, we get Orange Town. We're even gonna do some Log Town stuff. We're gonna talk about Shanks. It's interesting, and family really does permeate the theme of this chapter, and I think it's a perfect Thanksgiving themed chapter. That's my quick little rant on that. But it's a really insane next couple of panels we get. We see Harold get introduced via Garling to Shamrock and Shanks. Okay, now this is very important. Shanks has a scar over his right eye. What the fuck is up with that? Okay, next we see that Shanks next we see that Shamrock and Shanks have the exact same pieces of armor on, meaning that they were both Holy Knights. And it's quite interesting because a while ago I was like, yo, could we see Shanks versus the Holy Knights? Just because I assumed that they would be hunting Yonkos or something of the likes. And the idea that Shanks was a Holy Knight, and that's probably some static that we're going to be getting later. We're probably going to see a Holy Knight pull up on Shanks and say, yo, it's the end game, right? It's the end game, and shit's cooked for you in this little bum ass crew you got. Niggas is LeBron in 2015. Just a bunch of bums and one player. You feel what I'm saying? Listen, bro. Listen, I don't know what's about to happen, but the Holy Knights and Shanks are going to cross paths sooner or later, and that shit is going to be fucking heat. All right. Shanks makes comments about being abducted and abandoned from the world. The world that he knows, the world that he's supposed to be in. Quote unquote, Maurice Wall, which is insane, being that they have fucking slavers and fucking rapists and fucking PDFs here, which is crazy, brother. Whatever, Shanks. I like to believe that he was just acting to get pieces of information, but realistically, something probably happened where he was just oh, Emu? Oh, nah, I'm not boxing Emu. Nah, he's maybe I could box with the Gorosei. I could compete for power here, but that, I'm not boxing with that. I'm not. Let me go back on the seas. Let me go back on the seas. I wonder where his straw hat is. I wonder at this time, because he would have not met Luffy yet. The scar is fresh. I wonder where his straw hat is. I wonder if he arrived to Marijua with the straw hat. There's no way they would have there's no way the world government would have let a man with a straw hat and the blood of a Davy in him. Because technically, I mean, if God Valley was the home of the Davies, right, and Garling knocked up a chick on the God Valley Island, I mean, logically, Shanks has to be, at least a fourth Davy. So a fucking Davy pirate by blood, by lineage, via Garling's information with a straw hat? Nah, there's no way they'd let him in. This is so many questions I need answered. Yes, but essentially, Shanks says, that he hated the seas, he hated the pirate life, and this is why he rebelled. This is why he became who he this is why he became who he became, and he became a God's Steel. Right? We learned about the pack deal. It's kind of like a promotion deal. It's like a C pack, the deep C pack, and a deep C pack. Ideally, if you're like a proxy for the Gorosei, if you are a Gorosei, I can imagine you have a deep C pack, but we learned that Shanks only has just like deep C pack for the Gorosei, but Shanks only has a deep C pack. So even that, it's very questionable. Very curious stuff happening there, but I'm very entertained so far. I mean, the next part of the chapter, we get into Ida, she is unfortunately dying. She's passing away from an unknown illness, and everyone is saying that she's getting worse and worse by the day. Nobody can understand it, and everyone's trying to make sense of it, but it is really just an unknown disease at the time, and it is heartbreaking. The people at her side are trying to just do the best to make sense of it. Loki in some form or fashion has kind of started to make peace with it. He's heard word that her last couple of requests that she is not saying is her last request, but it's kind of obvious these are her last requests to keep the bar open. Loki is providing meat, kind of just like knocking out boars, wild animals, to provide, the townsfolk with any kind of meat that they need. Remind you that Ida is a quote unquote outsider, right? There is some kind of tribalism that happens within these giant communities. And for that, Ida, she is a victim of segregation, so like she is a victim, quote unquote, of like a redlining to a certain extent, right? If she was in mainline, if she was in the Elbaf proper, who's to say that she couldn't get expedient service, right? She is the son, like she is the child bearer to a king, right? And the idea that she does not get immediate requests, and the idea that she does not get immediate care, immediate medicine, it's fucking insane. It's crazy, right? All because she's a quote unquote outsider. And we learn that, while she is just speaking about her sons and how proud she is of Haruden, and, the growth Haruden has had as a warrior on the seas, and Loki, how much he has flourished, and, all the trouble that he's caused, but how much good he means deep down. Loki, while patrolling the streets, more or less, just kind of roaming around, I believe he runs into an elder of his mother's family, right? The mother that, hated him, and threw him off of a cliff. He runs into one of her relatives, maybe her brother, and it is so fucking heartbreaking, man. He says that I poisoned your mother, basically, and I poisoned your mother, and she's gonna be dying any day now. What glory it is going to be for our family to come back to the rightful throne. And while he says this, Loki slowly pulls out his hammer. I pause, right? Because I can't, that sounds kind of crazy. But he backs out his weapon. He's like, oh word? Like, you serious? Like, and then he asks, like, is she really dying? Like, is she really going to die? Mind you, kind of fulfilling somebody's last request or somebody's sick bed request. I would take that to be somewhat of a final wish, but we have to remember that this is his parent. Like, this is like losing your parent, right? And I'm not gonna lie, this is Thanksgiving chapter, brother. So it's like losing a parent on holidays. Like, oh, that's so fucking crazy, right? Loki, he reacts how anybody would react, and he blacks out. And I mean, it's just a massive crater. We see Conqueror talk. We see just. I like to believe they're knocked out, but I mean, the way Loki moved, maybe they're dead. Like maybe he sat here and he said, no, fuck the diplomacy, fuck the sweet shit. I'm done. Like you people have caused the death of the only person in this world who have ever given a fuck about me. You know what I mean? And it's so fucking heartbreaking, man, because it's like at every single point when Loki tries to do good, where he tries to make up for himself, where he tries to just make sense of the world, even joining Rox's crew. Who's to say if Loki wasn't there to at least somewhat assist? Mind you, he's a kid. We've seen strong kids before, bro. We've seen Luffy go out there and damn near conquer all of the fucking forest, okay? Loki is a giant, an ancient giant who, if we're not gonna lie, all right, who's to say he doesn't have an early conqueror's bloom if he's next to Rox and Whitebeard? It's possible, all right? The Rox pirates took about 15 years to break up, meaning that Loki would have been around this age when God Valley, around when God Valley happened, right? It was about 15 years for them to break up. So Loki wouldn't join them when he was about 5. That's about 20 years in our years, like human years. Who's to fucking say that Loki doesn't become a beast and that completely shifts the tides of God Valley? It's possible, right? Well, no, actually, I believe when okay, you know what? I recant my statement, actually, because I believe when God Valley happened, Loki was still very, very young. Very, very young. So you know what? Okay, yeah. All right. Yes, it is quite unfortunate, you know, but Loki makes his choice, and you know, it was sad. It was sad, man. It was really, really sad. Like Loki says that Ida was literally the only mother that she's ever. Loki literally says that Ida was the only mother that he ever known, and he's right, you know, and it's so fucking heartbreaking. So fucking heartbreaking. This was chapter 1167, man, and I had a great time. I had an amazing time with this chapter. There is no break next week, surprisingly. Oh, this is fucking insane. I thought it was gonna be a break this week because of the holiday. I mean, or some delays or anything, really. Fucking a tariff, right? But I mean, we got the chapter, and I was so fucking happy with it. I will be trying to get to this Iceman video as quick as I can, because I said I was going to be getting to it, and I've been a little delayed, so it is on the way. I hope all of you enjoyed this chapter. I hope all of you have a great rest of your night, all right? Our evening, our day, whenever you're catching this, all right? It is the 1st of the month, so wake up, all right? It's the 1st of the month. Get your ass up, all right? Stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful, all right? Peace.